Where were you when you heard the news, and what was your reaction to Saturday getting the job?
I was on my way up to Bristol to ESPN. I had gotten a little bit of an inkling that something was going to happen. Not necessarily knowing exactly what, but it was going to be big NFL news and something unlike we've experienced before, of kind of we've seen before. And Dan, like when the news broke, my initial thought was, wow. And then I work with Jeff 2 days a week, and I'm constantly in conversation with them. And my brain went back to all the conversations that he and I have had over the last like 6 weeks. And in the moment, I didn't put two and two together. But as yesterday unfolded, I was like, oh, now it all makes sense. We would have these really detailed conversations about what was going on in the NFL and, teams that were doing things well, teams that weren't doing things well, scheme, philosophy, identity, coaching, all that stuff. And, kind of when the news broke, it made a lot more sense why and how we had those conversations.
But why Jeff Saturday?
Why Jeff for the Colts or why Jeff?
Yeah.
I think the obvious thing is his relationship with Jim Irsay, right? He's got an emotional attachment to the place. They decided to move on from Frank. He's obviously been in conversations about that role in some capacity, with them and or at least intimated that he would be interested in it. Him and Irsay are close. He's probably got pretty significant backing from other notorious Colts as well. I mean, Reggie Wayne is on their coaching staff. So I would imagine Reggie would be somebody that would be stumping for Jeff. I would imagine Peyton did as well. So, the emotional attachment, I'm sure, is part of this.
Okay, but we talk about experience and paying your dues and being a coordinator, doing all the grunt work. Jeff played, but now you moved to the head of the line and now you're a head coach in the NFL. How big of a leap do you think that is for somebody who has no prior head coaching experience?
Massive. I mean, massive. We're talking, going from kindergarten to, your freshman year at Harvard. It is a massive leap. I think the reality too, Dan, is, Jim Irsay, this is the assumption game, right? He sat back with John Fox, ex-NFL head coaches on staff, and Gus Bradley. But Jim probably is sitting there going, I'm not hiring a defensive-minded person. That would be my guess.
Okay.
Right? The number one goal is we're going to try to get as close to the top of the draft as possible. And we need to fix the quarterback situation post Andrew Luck. So everyone's saying, well, not those guys. Why not those guys with head coaching experience? He ain't going to hire them guys. Like there's no chance that he's going to hire one of those two. That's my assumption. So let's give it to this guy who's an offensive player, all that stuff. Because it may be he surprises them and he keeps the job. It's a massive challenge, though. I mean, he's got to go because the players aren't dumb either. The players know a big reason why he got that job is because of his relationship with Mr. Irsay. That doesn't mean he won't be capable of it. So it's a big adjustment. It's a big challenge for him to step in front of that room and try to lead them through some, dark days of 2 months of football left and trying to win and compete and keep jobs. And let alone not having anybody on that staff who has called plays. They don't have somebody, Matt Ryan, maybe, Nick Foles, but those are the only two guys that have at least some feeling for that.
But now it's tricky. He loves Jeff Saturday. He wants him to come in. He thinks he's the right guy. But you just said they're really preparing to be bad so they can get a top draft pick and finally get their quarterback.
Yeah. I think that's a real thing for the Colts. I think I was on that 2011 team when we ended up getting the number one pick. I think we went like 2-14. No one remembers that. Everyone remembers the fact that they got Andrew Luck. And then they had that run of years. And, oh, my gosh, the Colts are going to be great for the next 15 years. I think Mr. Irsay sitting there going, I need a quarterback. Like I've tried to do the whole really good roster and plug and play the quarterback thing, and it hasn't worked. And we know this class coming out of college football is great. So while I think it's a big challenge for Jeff to try to go in there and win football games, I think Irsay is intrigued by who Jeff is and all the traits and or skills that he believes that a head coach has got to have. And no matter who he was going to hire or put into that role, the reality is that he wants his quarterback, and he wants to do everything he can to be in as good a position as possible to go get that one.
I'm wondering if we take all the analysts at the mothership, did Jeff Saturday offer you a job to be the quarterback's coach with the Colts?
Not directly, no.
Not directly. What does that mean, Dan?
Jeff and I have had conversations about coaching. You know, we've had some really good in-depth conversations of like what coaching looks like. Who are the good ones? Who are the bad ones? You know, my interest level in it, where I am in the present moment. So I think like Jeff was gathering again, that's when I look back and I'm like, aha, you know, like I think he was gathering kind of a feel and information without revealing some of the stuff that was going on behind the scenes. I texted with him yesterday, hey man, like good luck, go crush it type of thing. And we decided to touch base later. So no, he not directly offered me anything. No.
Okay. You're giving me a real answer here.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I was kind of joking, but you gave me a real answer. I appreciate that. Will you lobby to join in the Colts staff?
No, I won't lobby. You know, I've made myself pretty clear to Jeff. You know, I want to coach one day. I'm very much so interested in it. Candidly, as the days go on, I get more and more interested in it. You missed that part of football. I love what I get to do at ESPN right now. I love working for a guy like Jimmy Pitaro. I love working with the people I get to work with on a daily basis.
But
if Jeff, I have a lot of friends who are coaches in the league. They all know, you know, we talk all the time. So they know where I stand.
Talking to Dan Orlovsky, the former analyst for ESPN, as he gets ready to join the Colts coaching staff. How about I get all of the Booger, I get Swagoo, I get Rex Ryan, Mina Kimes can come in as well. And
Mina would be the number one on the list.
Everybody comes in and joins the coaching staff with the Colts. How do you think that that coaching staff would be?
We wouldn't have the number one pick then. We would do too well.
Okay.
No, we would have a lot of fun, right? I don't know if everybody's ready for that lifestyle, you know, but I don't know if everybody's ready for it to be criticized like we do on television either.